violating the laws of physics with this huge gym. And watch Marcus Teague on the bench. Carlos Boozer wants to play.
Welcome back to the channel. Now before we start off, I just want to say that I'm thankful for everyone who's been showing their support. Now I know the channel isn't that big, but I'm still grateful for the position I am now. And plus we're going to grow as time goes on, so again, thank you. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment so that I can know that you're showing your support. But enough of all that, let's get into this video. JaVale McGee has had a very interesting career. He gets a bad reputation due to the fact that he made some bonehead plays in the past, and the media painted a picture of JaVale McGee as a bad player, like he shouldn't be in the league. A bum, a scrub, whatever you want to call it. But that's just not the case. He's actually a decent ball player, and he's gotten better over the years. This is the evolution of JaVale McGee. Before most people knew about JaVale McGee, he played 2 seasons at the University of Nevada. He played as an all-around center who could chip in a couple points and be a defensive anchor down at the other end. He averaged 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Sheesh. After his outstanding performance at Nevada, he felt his draft stock was high enough. It was time to make the transition. In the 2008 NBA draft, JaVale McGee was selected 18th overall to the Washington Wizards. In his rookie season, he was a decent player, I guess. He averaged 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block. He wasn't nearly as effective in his college days, but that's understandable. He's now playing against the best of the best. It's gonna take some time to get used to that. But for the most part, he was mostly a guy who could defend the basket and still make a couple of wide open dunks here and there. But with the little amount of minutes that he was getting, he just wasn't able to show his full potential. But one day, he got all the exposure he needed. And the strange part about it is, it wasn't even an actual game. In 2011, JaVale McGee was chosen to be a part of the slam dunk competition. And JaVale made history this day. He was literally the only player from the Washington Wizards organization to ever be selected in a dunk competition. Ever. You're probably thinking, that's not a big deal. It's just a dunk contest. But imagine yourself in that same situation and think of all the hard work you had to put in just to get to this point. It's just amazing to see, and it should be applauded. And to add on top of that, he even set a Guinness World Record for dunking 3 basketballs at one time. So yeah, he's immortalized. But even with all this success, he still ended up coming in second place to Blake Griffin. And we all know how that ended.
Then
Even though he ended up losing, you can tell that his confidence grew on the court. He ended up averaging 6 points a game to 12 points a game, 4 rebounds to 9 rebounds a game. And do I even have to show the rise in blocks?
the wraparound pass and the rejection by McGee. Big time to
This was just a great season for him, and he even registered his first triple-double. Yes, JaVale McGee had a triple-double. It was against the Chicago Bulls. He had 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 blocks. Oh my goodness. What more could his team want from him? He was doing everything. Although they ended up losing 98-79, this was still a good achievement to add to the collection. Even though he was coming off a pretty good season, in 2011, he was traded to the Denver Nuggets. This was definitely a time of adjustment for JaVale McGee. I mean, he went from being a contributing starter with the Washington Wizards to being a role player with the Nuggets instantly. But he still had some decent highlights throughout the season. He made a game-winning dunk, and he was a crucial part of helping them get to the playoffs. They ended up landing the 6th seed in the Western Conference, which means they had to face Kobe and the Los Angeles Lakers. You could tell that this was his first playoff experience because he was playing very timid. His numbers were up and down throughout the whole series. I mean, he dropped 21 points in Game 5, but in Game 7, he only registered 6 points, shooting 1 from 7 from the field. His shots just wasn't falling for him that night. But hey, let's take the good with the bad. With JaVale McGee's play throughout the whole season, the Denver Nuggets felt that he was a valuable asset to their team. They re-signed him for a 4-year, $44 million contract. Keep in mind, that was a decent amount of money back in 2012, but even though they gave him all this money, he just wasn't able to produce. During the following season, he had to get surgery due to a stress fracture in his left tibia, and with this injury, his value of a player just went down. He ended up bouncing around from a couple different teams like the 76ers and the Dallas Mavericks, in which both teams ended up waiving his contract. That's messed up. These were tough times for JaVale McGee. with the constant teasing from Shaq'tin the fool.
This doesn't make any sense.
To the fact that he was having a career low in points and in everything else. It seemed like he didn't fit in the NBA anymore. But one day all that changed. In 2016, the Golden State Warriors picked up JaVale McGee, although they could have probably still won a championship without him. Nonetheless, he was still the type of player that they needed. Someone who could defend the basket and catch alley-oops, basically. And yeah, you guessed right. They ended up winning championships back-to-back. And JaVale ended up adding more to his legacy, setting more records. In all 72 years of the NBA's existence, JaVale McGee is the only player to win the championship while rocking the rat tail. He's just changing the game. But now it's the present day. Things have changed. And if you have been living under a rock, you wouldn't know that JaVale McGee has signed with the Los Angeles Lakers now. He decided it was time to make a change. He decided to join the king. Now that JaVale got his confidence back, do y'all think it's still enough to finally beat the Warriors? I can't really tell yet. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Peace.